Miss Victoria! I'll be going by tomorrow as well. Are you gonna be okay?
Tomorrow?
Yes! I'll be bringing Mom as well.
I don't mind her coming by, but Francis hasn't apologized to me about what happened the other day. So I'm really hoping that both you and Francis will actually consider what happened and take it seriously.
What? You're still talking about that from the other day?
I didn't want to bring it back up, but Minnie was injured from that. So I think it would be appropriate for you to apologize formally.
It's just something that happened between kids. Something is seriously wrong with you if you're gonna be bothering them like that.
Francis literally injures Minnie. You're not going to stop them at all, right?
Look here, Victoria. As someone who grew up in a nice household like you probably wouldn't understand.
What do you mean by that?
My parents never got along. They eventually got a divorce, and I was raised by my mother. I don't get along with my brother. After I got married, I haven't even seen him. He doesn't have any kind of relationship with any of my relatives. So I seriously just want to point out how I'm just a super lonely person that's been cursed.
I see.
So I get really frustrated when a girl like Minnie, who lives with no difficulties and lives a happy life, gets annoyed and bothered. So I don't think it's right to get mad at Francis.
I don't really get that logic.
Besides, Martha really gets along with Minnie. Martha is the older sister. Martha really is a good girl. So I can really understand why Minnie would get along with her.
That doesn't really follow your logic from earlier.
I'm someone who needs to be pitied. You really don't understand that, do you? I was raised in a household with no blessings. You would never understand. Considering you were loved by your parents and you get along with your siblings, you would never get it.
I feel like you're changing the subject here. You and your household issues. And the fact that Francis injured Minnie are not really related to each other, are they?
I don't want Francis to have the same experience as me. So I've been working really hard. But no one notices how hard I've been working. And they don't realize how I've been trying to get all of my relatives to get along with each other, even when I don't like you. But I want my mother-in-law to go by your house because I want her to be happy.
You drive someone who can't drive herself, so I really do appreciate that, but again, I feel like you're staying off subject.
It must be nice being you. You only see her every once in a while.
Huh? She seems like a great person. I don't see how that's a problem at all.
You just don't seem to understand what it's like to never be loved by your real mother. That's why I decided I would pour all my love and care into her. And that's why you should be kind and take care of Francis and I. What is that attitude? You really need to think twice. Just because she was injured a little bit, you are being too kind to Minnie. You should feel bad for Francis and I. You should really be nice to us.
What the hell are you talking about? Francis literally shoved Minnie off the top of the staircase. I don't think that's something to just shrug off. There was a cushion at the bottom, so she luckily didn't get any cuts and only bruises, but she still hit her head, and they had to run tests on her. You think that's something to just ignore and shrug off?
Are you having fun bullying me like that?
What?
Francis didn't mean anything by it. You really don't have to make a big deal out of it. You were yelling at Francis and getting in her face. If anything, I feel like you should be apologizing. Are you ready to apologize?
What are you smoking? Seriously? In that kind of situation, you really need to be teaching her a lesson and making sure she doesn't do that kind of thing again. Francis was crying.
How could you get that mad at a crying 4-year-old? Were you that angry? The only thing that crossed my mind is how you're seriously twisted in the head.
Excuse me? Okay, fine, whatever. Please don't ever contact me again. Huh? If you think that I made the wrong decision to scold your daughter, I want nothing to do with you. I don't want to deal with you either.
You don't have to put it that way. We're working so hard to try to get closer to you. You don't care about our happiness? You don't care about us? You don't feel bad for us at all?
I do feel a little bad for you. At least for Francis, anyway.
Well, what about me?
I don't care about you. You're about to be 40, and you're talking about how miserable and sad you are. I don't believe you, to be honest. And you live with your parents? Because you wanted to live with them. You didn't live with your family before, so you said you wanted to live with your parents to feel a parent's kindness. You convinced Mom, who wasn't really on board with it. You rebuilt their house into a duplex so that you could live however you wanted to live. How am I supposed to feel bad for you?
You don't have to say it like that. I don't feel an ounce of kindness from you. I don't have any freedom.
I'm not an idiot. You made Mom prepare all of the food. What are you talking about, living a tough life? And yet you have the audacity to sit here and pick and choose when they cook for you. And you leave behind food. I think you're actually the worst. That's why Frances always picks and chooses just like her mother.
That has nothing to do with you. You just don't understand.
What, because I grew up in a nice household? Was that your excuse? You always say that, so I'm starting to see a pattern. My father actually passed away when I was young, too. My father right now is actually a remarried dad. We had pretty tough times growing up, too, you know. There are no people in the world who are ever super happy all of the time. They just don't exist in the real world. So stop pretending you're this miserable little girl and ask for everyone to treat you like some kind of princess. It won't fly.
You don't have to put it like that. I'm the one that everyone needs to look after. I am the one who is most miserable. You just don't understand.
I don't want to understand. I feel bad for Minnie the most. She doesn't even realize what's going on. She just talks to her sister Martha, then Frances has to be jealous and shoves her off the top of the stairs. She has to be hurt.
It's because she took Francis's sister.
What? Martha's not Frances' sister.
Frances has known Martha long before Minnie has ever known her. But Minnie doesn't understand that at all.
Are you seriously asking a 2-year-old to understand social dynamics? Are you dumb? If you're not going to apologize, I'm going to be suing for damages.
Damages? When it's something that a kid did?
The parent is responsible for what the kids did. If that parent has no intention of apologizing, I don't think it can be helped at all. Also, I spoke to my husband and brother-in-law, only a little bit, but please don't come over to my house for a while. Actually, just don't ever come over at all.
What are you talking about? How could you say such a thing to me? I wanted to make my kid have the experience with her relatives that I could never have. Why are you getting in the way of my effort to let her have a fulfilling life? You just don't understand anything!
No, you don't understand. I don't care about your efforts. You injured my child. You didn't even apologize for it. Something is seriously wrong with you. Please don't talk to me anymore.
If I don't drive, then who's gonna take Mom to see Minnie and Martha? Are you gonna rob Mom of her experience with her grandchild?
I would rather that than my child be injured. Also, my husband is also a capable driver. It'll work out.
You really want to cut ties with me that badly?
Yes.
We were able to be siblings finally. Why would you say such a thing? I finally started to trust you as my sister-in-law.
A second ago, you clearly said you didn't like me. Also, when are you planning on telling your brother that Francis isn't going to kindergarten anymore?
Huh? You told him?
Yeah, I figured that he knew about it. You wouldn't believe the look on his face when I told him about it.
I don't believe it. Why would you do such a thing?
Frances always hits her friends at school, so she's disliked. And apparently you were warned by the other moms, too. She doesn't want to go to kindergarten, so you don't make her go, right?
You make me suffer. For what? What pleasure do you get from this?
I just stated a fact is all. I'm sorry you're suffering. I feel worse for Minnie. She was suddenly abused for some reason. She's the real victim in all of this. If you think you're that miserable, how about you pretend to be the damsel in distress somewhere else? Please don't talk to us anymore. Goodbye. Nancy freaked out after that conversation and started throwing a tantrum around the house. Then she managed to injure her mom in the whole mess. Her husband realized the gravity of the situation. Her husband was warm and kind, so maybe Nancy was just being spoiled by that. Minnie was chased out of her parents' house. During the divorce meetings, Nancy was dissatisfied with the whole thing, so her husband had to take off work and go take care of Mom and Frances. Frances was apparently much happier as a result. The next time that Victoria met up with Frances and Minnie, she apologized like a good girl. Victoria had thought that if they just got a divorce like this,
I'm going to be getting married here soon. Sorry for getting married before you, Brenda. Which is sad because I'm 5 years younger than you.
So you've decided to get married? Congratulations on that. I'm not really sure there's a need for you to be comparing myself to you, but it's great to hear that things have been going so well in your relationship.
You're 35 years old now, right? By this point, I'd say you're pretty much past your prime.
You don't have to say things like that. What do you think any of that accomplishes?
Well, I happen to still be 30 years old, and my wife is 27 years old. Isn't this crazy for you to hear right now?
Aiden, I'd be watching my mouth if I were you. I understand that you're so excited and happy to be getting married, but that does not give you permission to start bashing me like that, okay?
Bashing you? All I'm doing is saying the truth about you right now. I just think it's great that I'm going to be getting married to a woman that's even younger than myself. If you wanted to be in the same boat as she is when the wedding happens, then you're going to need to find yourself a man in his 40s soon.
Why are you mentioning that? My life has nothing to do with what you think, right? So, would you please stop it with all that jabbering on about my life?
I'm not jabbering on about anything. I'm just trying to make it obvious to you that I want you to try a little more is all. Is it not embarrassing to come in second place to me in everything?
What do you mean, Aiden? This is not some kind of competition, all right? I really want to know why you're going on and on about things like this.
Aren't you getting really worked up and afraid right now because your little brother's getting married before you? If I were in your shoes right now, I'd be freaking out. Being the oldest sibling, yet still not having a partner worth marrying yet? And considering you're a woman, isn't that embarrassing to you?
The only thing I'm worried about right now is that my little brother thinks the same way a man in the 1920s would have been thinking about things. We live in the 21st century now, and that kind of worry about marrying while one is young needs to stop.
What the heck? What are you trying to get at there?
If you don't understand what I'm saying, then maybe you need to put a little more thought into it. I don't want to talk with you anymore, okay? Just leave me alone and think about the things you've just said to me and why they'd all make me want to stop talking. Do you remember the last time you were acting out like this? You started to make fun of Dad and call him all sorts of names.
Is that when I made fun of him, always forgetting things, and asked him if he was already going crazy, or something like that? Was that really such a big deal to all of you? Because it wasn't. You all are just a bunch of tight asses.
I think we are all having to put up with a lot from you recently, because you've only become a lot worse when it comes to being kind.
What do you mean putting up with? I'm a very good son to both Mom and Dad, aren't I? I happen to be getting married early on. Very different from someone else in the family, right?
That's what I mean. I get that you're the kind of person to always think about yourself before anyone else and never think before you speak. But just remember that you should be thankful for all of us around you. If you start to forget that, then you'll be in for loads of trouble.
When are you planning on coming here?
What? Planning on coming to what?
Huh? What do you mean by that? Don't tell me you've forgotten what day it is. You would never no-show on a day like today, right? So, when are you coming?
What would I have forgotten about, Aiden? What do you mean when I am coming? Where am I supposed to be going to right now? Was there something happening today that I need to be at?
Huh? You're lying, right? Are you being serious with me right now about that?
What is going on here? I literally have no idea what you keep going on about. Is this some kind of joke?
You're the one that seems to be joking right now. But I want you to stop that. You're going to piss me off if you keep that going. Which would be a waste on a day like today.
No, seriously, Aiden. I have no clue what you keep talking about. Coming out of nowhere like that and sending me all these strange messages is not funny. You're just starting to annoy me is all.
Huh? So what you're telling me is that you really did forget about what today is? Are you freaking kidding me, Brenda?
I'm just asking you to explain to me what's going on here, for crying out loud.
If my family no-shows on the day of my wedding, I'm going to cut ties with all of you! Stop it with that stupid joke already, god dang it! You are about to make me go crazy with the way you're acting right now.
What? Today's your wedding?
Are you freaking kidding me? There's no freaking way. So you really did forget about today? Forgetting about your little brother's wedding like that?
No, hold on, just wait a second. What are you actually talking about right now?
The fact that I have as horrible of a person as you as my older sister makes me want to give up. No showing on the day of your only sibling's wedding? Like that is screwed up. If you don't get over here right now, then I'm going to cut ties with you and the whole family!
The date that's on your invitation is saying the wedding is tomorrow.
What?
You can get mad all you want for not staying level-headed and listening to me when I said I had no clue what you were going on about. But what I just said is a fact. I just took another look at the invitation, and just as I thought, it says your wedding is tomorrow. So your wedding should be tomorrow, right?
What are you going on about? You think an excuse like that is going to work on me? There's no way I'm the one who's mistaken here.
Come on now. Take a look for yourself, why don't you? Perhaps the invitation you sent me has the wrong date on it? I'm not sure who all else might have gotten a misprint like this, but if everyone got this same invitation as me, then nobody you invited is going to be coming to that wedding of yours today.
Hold on 2 seconds. I just had a look. You weren't kidding. The date on these invitations are all wrong.
So you finally had a look yourself? I'm sure you're standing there looking like an idiot right now, but I wasn't lying about any of that. Who the heck made all these invitations, Aiden?
I did. And I went and made dozens of copies of this to send to everyone I wanted here.
So, with that being said, everyone you invited thinks that your wedding is tomorrow.
This is not good! No way! You're telling me I didn't notice this error and sent everyone the invitation? Then that means none of the people I invited are going to show up today!
Well, that's what it seems like. Besides yourself, I don't think a single person is going to be showing up that you sent those invitations to. You should have taken a better look at your invitations and had your fiancé look at them as well before sending them all out.
If none of the people I invited come today, what's going to happen to the wedding? If there's nobody here to celebrate me, then this wedding will be like hell!
At that point, I wouldn't even call that a wedding. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but you're the one that did this to yourself, right? Your fiancé, or wife, is it? Wasn't the one to send those out, right?
That's right! I was told to be the one to prepare and send them all out. So that's what I did!
When it comes to those invitations, the date and place are the two most important parts, so you should have double-checked that. Well, it's too late to tell you that now. Everyone's already received their invites.
I want to know what to do here.
You're going to have to tell your wife about all of this, right? That should be your first step. You have to let her know about what you've done. You can't just have the wedding and not tell her anything about what's happened.
That's a good point. I'll go and tell her about all of this right now. Letting things be would only make things worse later on. I have to go talk to her right now.
Good luck, Aiden.
Crap! She is really upset with me now. I would have been better off not telling her a thing!
Had you not told her, the reality of the situation you're in wouldn't have changed. I think it was a good choice letting her know sooner rather than later. And now this means you've taken responsibility for what you've done.
Right now she's blaming me for everything, because I was the one that sent them out. If things stay this way, we won't be able to have the wedding because she's so upset with me. What am I going to do about all this?
Just a bit ago, you were getting all upset with me and saying you'd cut ties to me, right? And in the end, it was all your fault for this stuff happening.
You shouldn't. You don't have to add salt to my already fresh wound, okay? Right now, things are pretty tough for me, and I'm going to have to find a way out of this. Can you be a little more kind with your words right now? You're supposed to be my older sister!
Come on, you can complain about me all you want, but that's not going to help your current situation any, is it? You should have done a better job checking things over before sending those invitations, right? You had time to do all of that back when making the cards and then receiving them to send out yourself, right?
You don't have to tell me all of that now. I get it! But right now, I have no idea what to do, okay? Would you please start giving me some freaking advice instead of talking down about what I've done?
Well, when you start asking me to do things in that kind of bossy tone, I really don't want to do anything to help you.
I want to know what I should be doing right now, Brenda! If I don't act, then this wedding is going to go nowhere besides being cancelled!
I don't care about that. How about for starters, you learn from all this?
Learn from this? What is there to learn right now?
Oh, please. You know what I'm talking about. Do you have no memory of the way you've always behaved toward me? About all those times you were so selfish around me and didn't give a crap about how what you were doing was affecting me. None of that rings a bell?
Behaved? I was being that mean towards you or something?
You picked on me for not being married yet. And you always acted like you were the best because of my situation.
I was just telling you the truth.
It's a very good thing to be as confident and happy about yourself as you've been. But when you start bringing others down to make yourself look even more attractive, then there's a major problem. You would also pick on my life choices and would even speak badly about Mom and Dad in front of them. Because you always behaved in that manner around us, I find this to be what you deserve. No matter how horrible of a situation you're in at the moment, I find it totally natural that nobody wants to come and help you.
Hold up. Are you really that mad at me right now? Was I really saying that bad of things about you and both Mom and Dad?
The fact that you can't even tell how rude you were being is awful. It's very terrifying, actually. If you're never going to understand that the way you've been acting is wrong, then nobody is ever going to come to your aid when you need them.
What? What is wrong with you, Brenda?
Another thing, Aiden. When you came over to Mom and Dad's house a little while back, you went and took some of their money, right?
Wait, took the money sounds a little bad. I just happened to not have enough money for myself, so I went and borrowed some from them. Why do you know about that to begin with?
You borrowed that money? Then what happened to you ever paying them back?
Well, that's the thing. I haven't gotten around to that part yet.
So then you probably shouldn't say you were borrowing it then yet. Do you even plan on giving them that money back?
I do, of course.
When?
I don't know when just yet.
Well, look at that. You don't care to get them that money back. If you cared to, then you would have given them a time frame so that they could hold you accountable. The fact that you are this troubled and always cause problems for the family is probably why you're getting what you deserved now, right?
I never meant to do anything wrong, though. I'm sorry, Brenda.
What? What are you feeling sorry about? I'm pretty sure you're only saying that to get me to be quiet about all the wrongs you've done to everyone around you, right? It's not going to work, so don't even tell me you're sorry again.
Hold on, though. I really didn't know that you've been this upset with me. I was just teasing you is all, and there was no greater meaning to it.
Even if that was all you meant to do, you still hurt me. You knew that too, because you were poking fun at me for things that one of your age shouldn't be doing. Since you act that way with me so much, I'm sure you act that way with people outside the family as well.
I seriously never noticed that any of what I was doing was bad, though. That's why I'm being honest when I say I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you in any way, alright? I want you to understand that, okay? I really do feel sorry about all of that right now. From now on, I promise to think about how I talk with you before I speak.
Are you sure you're being serious enough about that? Is it okay for me to believe you then?
Please, believe me. I'll make sure that money I got from Mom and Dad is returned to them as well. I'll even go and apologize to Mom and Dad as well. I had used too much money on the wedding, and had nothing left to put towards bills and food. So I was just planning on borrowing some from them is all.
You stole the ability to retire from Dad, you know.
Well, I never meant to do that to him. But now that you've said all this, my eyes have been opened. From now on, I'll be more careful of what I do and say, and make sure to take responsibility for my actions. Once again, I'm sorry for never noticing any of this and hurting you.
If you've come to understand what I've told you, then that's good. I'm going to give you a call right now. Luckily, you were able to have a good wedding after all that.
Brenda, thank you so much for everything. This is all because of you and has nothing to do with me. The fact that you went ahead and called everyone in the family and let them know about the mistake I made, and you talking with the manager of the building and asking them to start the wedding a little later for me. We were able to wait for everyone to come here, and from there, we were able to have this wedding. I am so thankful for all of that.
You're welcome. And you'll be thanking me for all that for the rest of your life.
I really will.
After seeing my little brother begging me to help, I couldn't just sit there, even if you've been such a jackass to Mom, Dad, and I.
I wasn't really begging.
Well, when you were on the phone with me, you sure sounded like you were begging. Well, that doesn't matter now. Just don't forget anything I've said to you today, okay? If you begin to clean up your act, then I'm sure in no time good things will start to happen to you again.
I totally understand that now. From now on, I'll try harder to show you just how thankful I am for everything you've done today. Thank you again, Brenda. Wait, thank you for literally everything, Brenda.
If you're still able to apologize and thank me like that now, then that means you still have a chance of being all right. I'm actually a bit upset that things turned out this well for you in the end, but I think this is a good turning point for you. Now, you make sure to treat your wife kindly, okay? In the end, thanks to all that work I put in, the wedding was a success for my brother and his wife, albeit starting 2 hours after it was planned for. Because of all my effort, I would be thanked by both my brother and his wife for a very long time, showing that they still had not forgotten about what happened. I didn't know how things would end for Aiden, but the fact that he was able to have his eyes open to his actions and learn from them is wonderful. He even came around to paying my dad back for all the money he borrowed before. It seems that everyone is a whole lot more content with my brother now, and you could call this a happy ending for everyone involved. And because of that, I'm a whole lot more relieved than I was before my brother's wedding.